And part of this is born of the fact that Zwift does not make it very easy to give ride-ons. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah and I make videos about health and fitness and all of those things endurance sports. So if that floats your boat, go on down there and press all of those buttons. They haven't moved. I checked. They're still there. But if you want to check on them yourself, you can scroll on down there and give them a hug, press, whatever you want. It's up to you. But today I want to talk about a question I got about a week ago from a subscriber. And I've been thinking about this for a couple days. And I thought it would be an actual good subject to make a video about, because it's a question that I've seen a lot from new riders. Over the years I've been on this platform and time in forums and time in the Zwift riders group, you know, before it turned into the plague, wrapped up in a dumpster fire, wrapped up in the apocalypse. I'm sorry that group is so untenable. If you are new to cycling or new to Zwift and you found this group and you just find that you are completely dogpiled with ridiculous answers, I'm sorry. The group has just gotten too large to manage and it probably isn't the best resource anymore. But it used to be a really good group and people have learned a lot, and there's some really awesome people who are still hanging out in that group. God bless them. But this question used to come up all the time from new riders, and it was with respect to ride-ons. And I thought it would be an interesting subject matter to tackle because it kind of speaks to a larger overarching theme when it comes to the psychology of cycling and the difference between these platforms and kind of infusing a little of that social networking element into it, and then kind of cycling outdoors and endurance sport in general. And I thought I would kind of address the question because I think a lot of newer riders have the same question. And the way that this particular individual expressed the question was surrounding the etiquette in terms of ride-ons. And they had expressed some frustration in it as they were a person that usually has the companion app open, using that blue stripe across the top to give kind of a mass number of ride-ons to those people that they follow, and they check periodically throughout the ride to be able to support other riders and members of the community. And they were frustrated that these ride-ons weren't reciprocated, that the people who follow this person were not giving them ride-ons. He wasn't seeing the return that he would have expected. And his question was, you know, could I address this? And I'm afraid that I might actually disappoint this person because I think that they were expecting me to kind of speak to the community about the etiquette and encourage people to give ride-ons. And while I think that's a completely noble effort to do that, I just kind of want to talk about people's expectations when it comes to that engagement, especially on the social level when it comes to Zwift, and have people understand what's out there, because I don't want people to get frustrated or feel like they're being slighted personally, right? Because when we're riding out on the road, if any of you are riders out on the real road and you are passing by a cyclist, you expect some kind of acknowledgement, right? That's your brethren. You're here, we're all part of the same community. You get the wave, the nod, the smile, some kind of acknowledgement that you're there, that people typically don't look right through you. Obviously, if it's not safe to give that acknowledgement or that wave, we don't expect that. But when you see another rider, you typically acknowledge them. And I think that this particular subscriber, and I think a lot of people who are newer to Zwift, kind of look at it the same way. And I think this is born of the fact that there are actually kind of two different types of riders on Zwift. And one of those types is a lot of you who might have been joining Zwift in the last year, you know, post-COVID, who are coming online that are looking for a way to become recreationally fit or maybe even get into cycling, and are trying to do so in a manner that is social, that you can find other people with shared interests, and you really like the social elements, and you got the ride-ons and you got the chat functionality, and then there's kind of subgroups and group rides, and you can get to learn and know people who are like-minded and be part of the community. And it's super fun, right? Zwift has done a really good job at doing that. And I think that a lot of folks think that everybody on Zwift is in that same boat, seeing this as kind of a game and a social network, if you will, first, and the fitness is just kind of a fun byproduct, right? You get a 2-for-1. And the reality is there's actually another subset of people, and historically this has been the majority, although I don't know that this is the case anymore with the huge influx of riders. But way back when Zwift started 6 years ago, almost exclusively the riders on Zwift were cyclists, trained, disciplined cyclists that were coming online because they were training for some kind of purpose, whether it was to be better fit for group rides or races or big events, whatever that would be. These were cyclists first. And the gamification element and the social element was cool And it was just giving us more immersion. It was giving us the ability to train in an environment that wasn't just this completely dull, two-dimensional, either looking at trainer road or following some intervals on your stem or looking at your computer or watching a horrible movie. Indoor training before Zwift was just unbearable. It was awful. I 100% credit Zwift with the ability to stay on the indoor trainer for more than an hour, because before integration with Zwift, I was able to kind of use the Cyclops, which is now Ruby, but it wasn't great, man. It was dry, and Zwift really changed the game in that regard. So a lot of folks that are on the platform came to it for that reason, so that they can kind of engage and have that feedback feed forward with respect to their training. And the social element was cool, and the gamification was cool, little carrots and so on and so forth. But they really don't, they're not all that concerned. Really, there's two different types of responses to the ride-ons. And one is like, yeah, I'm totally jazzed up for the ride-ons. Spread the love, give as many people as much drops earning potential as possible. Give them that thumbs up, make it rain ride-ons. And then there's another subset of people who's kind of like, who gives a rat's ass. And those are kind of the folks that are really in it for the training element. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, I fall into that second category. And I want to give that some context, because I want people to understand why people are falling in that category and what is meant by that. Because it's not that I don't care about the community. I wouldn't be making these videos if I didn't give a rat's ass about the people and the community. But when it came to me starting on Zwift, I could take or leave the ride-ons. I didn't care. And I've been on the platform for enough years that I have more drops than I'll ever know what to do with. I don't need the ride-ons. The fact that I get ride-ons from people like you that are subscribing to my videos, that are engaging with me in the comments, that are interested in me and my content and our little community that we've built here, that I think is cool. I like recognizing the names. That is super cool to me, to have an actual kind of tangible connection with the people who are giving me ride-ons. But if it weren't for this YouTube channel, I really wouldn't care at all. Like, I just don't care about receiving ride-ons. I've got the badges, I've got all the nonsense. And I think a lot of people are in that position. It's not that they don't care about you or all of the other riders, it's just a different framework. So when I get on the bike, I'm getting on the bike with a specific purpose for training, so that I can be competitive come the in-season time, whether it was for my group rides or my challenges or races that I might join on the real road. So I might be coming online to do a structured workout, or I am doing a free ride with some particular type of purpose or agenda, or I'm doing a race or a group ride. All of those things that are engaging me in the process, right? I'm focused on my power and my execution and my form and practicing my fundamentals, and I'm kind of zoned out. And sometimes I don't see or notice the ride-ons come through. And I'll put this as an aside: if you've ever been on the road and you've seen me and you've chatted at me and I haven't responded, please understand I'm not being a dick and I'm not trying to ignore you. I literally don't see it. Sometimes I even turn the chat off if it gets really busy. So please don't take that personally if I don't respond to the chat. I'm literally just, I don't see it, right? But I'm doing these rides, and I can't be bothered to futz with the companion app. In fact, I don't have the companion app on for 90% of my rides. And giving ride-ons is like an extra step, and it takes away from my presence in the workout, so I'm not doing it. And when I'm on an easy ride, I'm usually engaged in something else. I might be listening to an audiobook or a podcast, maybe I'm jotting down some notes, or I'm watching a documentary or a movie or something like that. And I'm not even looking at the screen on Zwift, right? So it's like, I cannot be bothered in this environment to be playing around with other technology that is not kind of serving me in that moment. And I know that's gonna sound really selfish and dickish. It's not because I feel like I'm better than anybody. It's just kind of where I am in terms of the ride. And part of this is born of the fact that Zwift does not make it very easy to give ride-ons, okay? So if you give me a ride-on and you're riding around in London and I'm riding around in Watopia, I might see your name, but I can't find you to give it back. You're nowhere near me. The amount of friction that it would take me to hunt you down and then follow you and then give you a ride on, I'm not going to take 5 minutes to do that. It's not because I don't care about you. It's because I'm engaged in what I'm doing. If Zwift was to make it easy, give us maybe a hotkey on the keyboard, maybe the backspace key, right? If somebody gives me a ride on and while that thumb is spinning above my head, if I reach over and smash that keyboard, I can instantly give one back to you. I would engage a lot more. If you make the friction completely seamless when it comes to giving ride-ons or returning or reciprocating, I would absolutely do that. And I don't think that I'm unique. In fact, I think I'm representative of at least half of the riders on Zwift. It's not that we don't care about the community, it's that in that moment while we are riding, we are likely very focused. on a particular agenda, right? When you give me a ride on, you don't know if I'm in the midst of a workout or a sprint. You don't know if I'm in the middle of a race. You see my name and you give me a ride on. And very often I will see those when I'm working hard, and I'll kind of just make note of it. I'll hear the noise a lot, and I'll say, you know, that's really cool. And the fact that those of you who are following me take the time to hunt me down on Zwift, leave comments on the Zwift rides. Mind you, I don't see those right away all the time. They kind of bury those a little bit. So again, I'm not ignoring you. Sometimes I just don't see them for weeks later because I don't always go on the companion app. But at any rate, the fact that I'm aware that this little community that we've built here on this channel is following me and taking an interest and giving me those ride-ons, I personally appreciate that. Completely divorced from Zwift. But be aware that a lot of folks, most folks, don't have any kind of following. They're just on there to ride. And they're not, there's kind of a part of our society that collects followers and collects likes, and you know, it gives us that little dopamine that we like to be, you know, have that sense of approval and camaraderie on these networks. And I think that does carry over to Zwift in a sense. But you're gonna get that disconnect. And I think what I want people to really understand is that if you're gonna give ride-ons, do it because you just feel compelled to do it, because you're interested in another rider and you wanna show support. And if they reciprocate, great, but if they don't think it's because they don't care or they're being an asshole. The reason I wanted to make this video is because I want people who are getting into Zwift for the first time this year, that are really getting into cycling and are enjoying training and getting stronger, who are thinking, hey, I wanna do this outside when the weather gets nice, and I wanna go join a group ride, or I wanna go maybe try my first race. I don't want people to think the cycling community just doesn't give a shit and treats other people like crap and ignores other people. It's just different. The way that we treat the indoor trainer and the focus that we have on the indoor trainer, many a trained athlete, please don't take it personally. Please don't think that it's because we don't want you there or we don't appreciate the community or the social element of Zwift. We're just not as engaged with it. With more and more people joining Zwift, that balance is just going to continue to change, right? I think at this point, it's probably the majority of folks on Zwift that aren't primary cyclists, but you do have a lot that are. You also have a number of people who just don't understand how to navigate the system very well, right? So I'm on PC, a lot of people are on PC or Mac, and being able to give somebody a ride on that's even next to you, I gotta like grab the mouse, right? I gotta grab the trackpad and then move my cursor to click on the orange thumb. And if the orange thumb doesn't show up, I've gotta click on the rider, then give the orange thumb, and then I gotta go back to me. So the friction there for somebody who's adept at using the platform is kind of high. And for those people who are new to the platform in general, they might be struggling, right? Struggling with the multitasking. They might be bleeding from the eyes doing really hard workouts. So please don't attach too much to this idea of ride-ons. Understand that everybody's just on the platform. They're in a different place. You're probably never going to get more ride-ons than you give unless you do have a following. And I just would do it for the fun of it, right? For any of you who give out ride-ons just to kind of spread the love, we need more of that. That is really an excellent part of Zwift, because you get the people who are new that get frustrated when they don't get the return on there and they just kind of throw their hands up. And then you have the people who've been around for a while who just kind of are assholes and they say, well, who gives a shit about ride-ons? And that's wrong too, right? We need people who are positive in the community. But on balance, the bulk of the riders are just kind of oblivious. They're in their own little world. They're not even thinking about engaging socially. We're either carb depleted or zoned out or bleeding from our eyeballs or answering emails, whatever it is that we are doing as human beings. You know, a lot of us are shoehorning in our training time between all of the family obligations and work obligations, and I just don't want people to get the wrong idea about the community. There's a handful of the loud super minority that gets really assish about this type of thing, but understand that there is a place for everybody. The people who come on to Zwift because they really just want to be social and like that idea of being able to have some recreational fitness alongside it, man, that's cool. That's definitely cool. Zwift has done a great job at creating that, and there's a place for everybody. And there's also a place for those people to maybe flip their script and move into whatever realm or development in terms of cycling that they desire. If they want to take it seriously next year, they can absolutely do that. But I just wanted to make this video so that people who are newer to the platform could kind of understand what's going on. They used to actually put this in the emails, where with your mileage and your calories burned, in the upper right-hand corner, they used to put the ride-ons given and the ride-ons received, and I was going to show you mine and blow up my own spot. They must have gotten rid of it because people just were getting pissed off, because I was going to show you guys what an asshole I am. You guys have given me probably maybe 1,000 plus ride-ons in the last week. And I've probably, if I'm being honest, have given out 30. I mean, I'm just an asshole, but please understand, it's not because people don't care about the community. It's not because I don't care about the community. I hope that's clear from the fact that I make these videos, that I very much want all of you guys here, no matter what your goal is with respect to Zwift and cycling. I want to invite all of you guys into the sport. I hope that a lot of you continue past this kind of winter season and take this outside. We need more people. We need more young people. We need more women to join this sport. The bigger, the better. It helps us with trickle-down technology. It helps to bring the prices of things down. It helps to have more engagement in group rides and charity rides and races, and it increases prize purses. The amount of just benefit to bringing more people into the fold with respect to cycling is just amazing. So it's not an exclusionary group. Please keep doing what you're doing. Give out those ride-ons. We all love you. If I see you on the road and I don't give you a ride-on, punch me in the head, whatever you want to do. But I hope that you guys got something valuable or interesting out of this video, maybe a little insight into the crazy mind of the cyclist. If you did get any value out of it, if you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up button, it really does help the channel and the video out quite a bit. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll put 2 more Zwift videos somewhere in this vicinity over here. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. See ya.